Hello and welcome to Action Teacher Video. Video is a powerful tool that teachers are using to reflect on their own practice. And in this series, we feature videos produced in schools and discuss the contents and implications here in the studio. In this programme, we'll be talking about an innovative approach to art in Gallions Primary School, revealed through their video called Etching the DLR. I'm delighted to be joined in the studio by Patrick O'Neill from Gallions Primary School. Patrick, hello and welcome.
Hello there.
Joining Patrick is another teacher with some similar experiences from Jubilee Primary School, Nick Cannon. Nick, hello and welcome.
Hello.
I'd also like to introduce a consultant and frequent contributor to Teachers TV, Adrienne Jones.
Hello.
Hello and thanks for joining us. Patrick, maybe you can give me a bit of background to your project.
Sure. Being an arts-based school, we felt it was extremely important to create some links with local artists. We were able to create a link with a lady who was an etcher based in East London, and together we decided that our stimulus would be that of the Docklands Light Railway.
If you haven't got time to draw it, just write it down. We're not worried about spelling, just write some words of things you see. Okay?
And you can see Canary Wharf from here. Canary Wharf in the background.
Down now.
And a part of the Millennium Dome. I'm drawing the top of the Millennium Dome.
What I want the children to do is to start to train their visual memory and make quick sketches of whatever they notice.
If you haven't been on the DLR that much, you'll be able to see new things and new buildings and things that you haven't seen before.
I used to think London was just a normal place, an ordinary city, but now I've gone really inside out.
We do live in London, but we live in the outer London. And I have been inside London before, but not all on trains.
I'm trying to do the drawings as a sequence of our journey around the Tower gateways and all the way in the middle. I've drawn a bit of everything in the journey, so it's like it's kind of like a story without no words.
When you look at things, it's very exciting because sometimes you haven't seen things before.
It's the first time I'm doing it and I really enjoyed.
Does it remind you of honey?
A little bit.
There's your clue. Where does honey come from?
Bees.
And what is honey in?
Beehive.
Yeah. Honey's in a beehive, and honey comes in a comb, octagon-shaped wax, and inside the wax is the honey. After they've taken the honey out, they can take the wax and use it.
The thing I found most interesting is putting wax on the copper plate and heating it up so it gets harder and stronger.
We smoked the plate with tapers to make it go all shiny black, so it's easier to sketch pictures.
Then we'll put them into the acid so the picture comes out.
And the acid bit the copper where the line has scratched through the wax.
Their drawing solutions are as simple, as elegant and as logical as any I could hope to find. And there's an excellence about them that comes from new minds.
Because I was working with an artist, I felt that I couldn't draw properly. But then I started to gain confidence.
When we first made it, I was a bit nervous because I thought it was going to be quite hard. But then when we got the hang of it, it was quite easy.
Just a second, I'll be with you in a moment, sweetheart. I've got to get this ready.
The best part is when we done the scraping there with the ink. I've scraped the ink that way. I've scraped it that way, and now I'm scraping it that way with the other side.
I'm putting on polish to make the etching lines darker and then patching it with a scrim to take off the ink from the surface.
Okay, one more tall one up here.
Alison is very good at doing etching, and when we first started, she was very good, and when we got the hang of it, she's even more good now.
My role in this project is to help the children to learn in a visual way, in other words, to start to learn the way an artist might learn, not in order that they become artists, but just as a way to learn, that they can make new connections, to develop their knowledge and to develop their skills.
Now just gently make it stop, and make the handle stop at the bottom if you would please, just if you need to be looking. Whoa.
The whole point is not what we are working together to make, which is their Docklands Light Railway piece, but what the child has learned, how it's changed the child. They become my work rather than the product becoming my work. And that's bound to feed into what happens next.
Patrick, that's an inspirational project and a really lovely video. But I'm interested in the role of the artist and the teacher involvement.
Well, the artist was there to take over the role of teacher. I knew nothing about etching before the project was undertaken. So I then took on a role of a pupil. I did my own drawings, I carried out my own etching. The artist had, not only was a capable artist, but was very good at keeping the children focused, keeping them in line, and therefore it didn't cause a problem at all.
And how did the children react to you?
They enjoyed seeing me don a dirty old T-shirt and have to do exactly what they were doing. I think they got a kick out of seeing me learning something as well. I think children always expect that teachers know everything, and we like to think, I guess, that we do. But in this case, to see me coming down and working with them from the drawing, from the etching, right through to the very end was something which they enjoyed.
Their drawing solutions are as simple, as elegant and as logical as any I could hope to find. And there's an excellence about them that comes from new minds.
Because I was working with an artist, I felt that I couldn't draw properly. But then I started to gain confidence.
When we first made it, I was a bit nervous because I thought it was going to be quite hard. But then when we got the hang of it, it was quite easy.
Nick, I wonder what you think of this video. The children were obviously finding talents they didn't really know they had.
I love the whole thing about the video. The whole thing about looking, getting the children to look. I mean, how many of us go to work or to school or wherever on public transport and never actually look at what we're looking at? And that, I think, is fantastic for children to get that process. But the whole thing about building up a child's confidence is the most important thing that as teachers we can ever hope to do, really. I mean, obviously they need to read and do maths and to write, but to see their confidence growing like that is fantastic.
Is confidence something that is supported very much through your arts work in school?
Most definitely. With the etching project, this is something that no one had ever done before, so no one could claim to be better, no one could claim to be more advanced, including myself. So you could just see that because everyone was starting from that level playing field, the confidence sort of ran throughout the whole class and not just with a certain few individuals.
Nick, what about this transferability from the art lesson to other subjects?
I think it's something that's very important. In Jubilee we've been working on preferred learning styles and multiple intelligences for quite a while now, and we now have it built into our planning, and so that if we start a lesson in a very visual way, we're not allowed to end it in a very visual way. And so we might do something very auditory, we finish in a very kinesthetic way. Because by only teaching in one way or only doing something very visually, you're only meeting a third of your target audience, really. So this has really opened up for us a whole way of working in the school. And it's really focusing on what the individual child can do and to help them realise their full potential.
One of the things particularly with the children in there is the way they were able to articulate the experience they'd had. Had you given them a lot of help with that?
No, because the project took such a long time to do, well, 10 weeks in total, and that was 10 separate days. The children saw every single step of the way, So not only were they able to see their finished product and how good it looked, they knew and could tell people the exact steps which they had taken in order to get their finished product.
Now just gently make it stop, and make the handle stop at the bottom if you would please, just if you need to be looking.
The whole point is not what we are working together to make, which is their Docklands Light Railway piece, but what the child has learned, how it's changed the child. They become my work rather than the product becoming my work. And that's bound to feed into what happens next.
This video really shows the wow factor in this project. Do you think it's sustainable though?
It is. We have to keep looking and changing things. I mean, we can't just rest on our laurels after having produced something like that. What we need to do is we need to make sure that every teacher in the school gets a chance at trying to incorporate some form of the arts into their teaching. With our shared area which we have in our school, which is a pool, if you like, where teachers can go and get ideas from other teachers, see previous years' planning. It allows everyone to have that confidence to at least attempt these things. And if things don't work out, then we go and ask for assistance, we ask colleagues, but everyone at least is having a go at trying to teach as creatively as possible.
So what does this mean for teachers, Nick?
I think it's really exciting. I think it gives them a real chance to let go and be a little bit subversive without true anarchy setting in. It gives the child more of an opportunity to explore their own way of working, and it gives the teacher, I think, a greater insight into the individual. It is, I think, a big step for some people to let go, if you want, of the way our curriculum has gone over the years with the introduction of the literacy hour and the numeracy hour has, I think, quite constricted a lot of people, but also has given you a safety net. And this is a chance to take away that safety net, which is scary, but I think the best teaching comes out of being scared a little bit.
Taking risks.
What do you think, Patrick, about what Nick's just said? Because for some teachers, the idea of bringing creative processes or art or music into the curriculum actually fills them with a lot of fear.
No, I totally agree with what Nick said. The hardest part for me when I first joined Gallions was to get rid of the structure to my day and go with the flow and look like everybody else appeared to be doing. If I did a whole hour's lesson on just drama, if I didn't have something written down, I would start thinking, well, how am I going to show that I've actually done something in this time? So that was probably the hardest thing for me to begin with. But when I saw the results of the written work which came from using the arts at a later date, I realised that it was a fantastic way of approaching teaching.
Well, I think that's a good point to end on, but I'm sure there'll be a lot more discussion from this. You can, of course, find out more from our website at teachers.tv. Thank you to our guests Patrick O'Neill, Nick Cannon, and thanks also to Adrienne Jones. Please join us again on Action Teacher Video, and in the meantime from me, Xanthe Steen, goodbye.